Evening YouTube, hope everyone's good. Now, I have just whizzed through Jupiter's review of Tommy and Lubna's. Now, yesterday I put out just a little snippet from the conversation between Lubna and Tommy, just to rub a bit of salt in the wound, to be fair. Obviously knew it would trigger her. And Danny Roscoe. Do you know what I mean? They're both in that category or whatever. And they know it. Now, the snippet I put out, followed by, I think it was only like an 8-minute video or something. Basically doing reverse psychology on Jupiter or whatever. Because otherwise she wouldn't have gone anywhere near that review. Do you know what I mean? She would have not bothered or whatever. Now, the bitterness and the fucking vindictive, fucking vendetta type personality that Jupiter is or whatever, just oozed out all over every opportunity or whatever while doing the review. Now, anybody normal, anybody that's like a decent fucking human being, would watch that, listen to that, and see things for what they are or whatever. That Jupiter clearly doesn't like Muslims, has a big problem with Muslims. You've got to bear in mind as well, Jupiter's already told you there's literally no Muslims where she lives. It's very white or whatever, and it's worth considering that she came from the left and then ended up where she is now. Yeah? Has Jupiter radicalised herself to believe that all Muslims are X, Y, and Z or whatever? It appears to be. It does appear to be. Even when you've got one that's literally saying all the right things which you would want to hear, Jupiter still fucking comes out of all the shit. Now, it could be just like pure jealousy and envy that somebody's been around YouTube for nowhere near as long as 7 years or whatever, and she's managed to grow a big channel, a healthy channel. People from across the board, from all races, religions, or what Jupiter would like to make out that she's got or whatever. Obviously, very bitter about 32 grand that Lubna, was it a GoFundMe or something like that? Because she had to move and all that, she's gone to Paul Thorpe, and Paul Thorpe's suggested do that or whatever. Now, because Jupiter's a tramp, to her 32 grand's like winning the lottery or whatever. To Lubna, 32 grand's neither here nor there. When you've got to uproot from where you've been for all that time and then move yourself, your family, whatever, 32 grand realistically is fuck all. But to Jupiter, that's like an astronomical amount of money or whatever, and she's cheated people out of it or whatever, and all this fucking madness. Now, if people choose to donate, then that's their business. It's fuck all to do with you. Now, on Jupiter's thing or whatever, she's actually admitted that, yeah, she did try grifting for a couple of months or whatever. She's making out now that she felt guilty of people that was donating money that probably had their own money concerns and this, that and the other, and she felt guilty taking their money. Now, anybody that watched that unfold at the time is fully aware that Jupiter got a grand total of about £20 or whatever over that time period. Now, people will also be aware that Jupiter's denied that point blank for weeks and months or whatever. Probably going back a year or something, she's literally denied that ever happened or whatever. I'm not a grifter. Well, you've just admitted that you literally was. And the only reason we know that you did stop doing it or whatever is because people was pointing out that you're a grifter, and realistically it wasn't going to be in your benefit to keep having people being able to go, oh, Jupiter's a grifter, when you weren't really achieving anything. Now, if Jupiter was getting a few £100 every time or whatever, oh, she'd have kept that on. We all know she would have kept that on. But because she only accumulated £20, and I think it was I don't want to put anyone's name in the mix, but I think it was people that was what Jupiter would have considered friends at one point in time. That was actually giving them donations or whatever. Nobody else did. Nobody at all did, other than the people that was literally around Jupiter at that point in time. Other than that, she'd still be grifting the shit out of it now. Now, Jupiter can deny it all she wants. She did try it again when she accumulated 1,000 subs over the riots. She did. We know that she did. There's plenty of people around the situation now that is aware what she did back then or whatever. I think Ghost had some evidence, or might have been a dookie or whatever, that she did. Now, again, Jupiter's denied that point blank or whatever. So, this is the lying scumbag that's trying to cause all these problems, drag decent people into the mix, etc. Now, the second part of the Lubna and Tommy conversation was played out today, and I was driving at the time or whatever, so I was listening to it on speeded up or whatever, because it was quite far behind. But before I started moving and whatever, I've skimmed through all the comments as far back as you can go and whatever, and you had Danny Roscoe on there triggered to fuck, because he knows at the end of the day he would have seen that little clip, or Jupiter would have told him and whatever, and oh, we need to combine forces or whatever and do this review. Now, at one point in time, I used to think Danny Roscoe was quite sensible, weren't a stupid guy or whatever. Watching the comments from him triggered to fuck just kind of show me that I don't know what I was thinking back then. It's fucking mad. All the comments you got to bear in mind, apparently, because Jupiter said so and whatever, that Danny Roscoe has already stated that, well, if we're gonna have black supremacy in the UK, then we need to have white supremacy to deal with it, to combat it. Now, to me, that is absolute madness or whatever. Now, when all this unfolded, when that was said and whatever, and Danny Roscoe, myself and Jupiter ended up on a panel discussing the ESO and bleeding being the vile trolls that they are, and Jupiter has literally admitted to enrolling these scumbags. Danny Roscoe was fine with it. He seemed actually compliant with it. Even added a few things along the lines of, because people have gone for him and his family, then all bets are off kind of thing or whatever. You know, if you're gonna dox me, I'm gonna do doxing or whatever. You want to go low, I'll go low or whatever. Just a typical Jupiter move. The moment you do that, you've literally made yourself as shit as they are. It is that simple. And what it does is makes it to the point where you can no longer point your finger. Do you know what I mean? You've no longer got a higher ground. You stay on the moral battlefield and you'll win all day long. The normal people, you'll win the normal people over. The extremists will go, will do the enemy of my enemy is my friend. They'll do that or whatever, and they'll choose accordingly. The normal people, the 80% in the middle, are literally, they're going to stay on the moral battlefield. That's realistically where the war will be lost or will be won. It is that simple. All these stupid little battles back and forth from one community to another, and then they do the musical flip-flop fucking challenge bullshit over and over and over again. Those people realistically make themselves irrelevant by doing so, and repulse the 80%, you know, the normal people or whatever, which have just got genuine concerns, genuine people with genuine concerns. You'll lose all them the moment you start doing the same tactics or whatever. And I've said that to him. I've said that to Jupiter. I've said that to Danny Roscoe. Now, I get it when your family's attacked and whatever, and you've had to move your family and all this shit or whatever. I don't even think Danny had to move or whatever, but obviously, either way, his family have been attacked or whatever. When you end up with a prevention, an intervention rather, from prevent, and you end up getting your children questioned, yeah, I get it, you're going to be pissed off or whatever. When people are making him a woman beater and a terrorist and whatever, yeah, you're going to be a bit pissed off. I mean, it's a bit mad how he ended up sat with those people that, like, made him them things, but yeah, a bit weird. Even all the prevent stuff and all that, do you know what I mean? Even all that probably comes down to Esau and bleeding and whatever, but this is what dumb people do. They'll go and sit with the people that, like, caused them all the problems or whatever to somehow try and even the score. It's fucking mental. This is how you can tell that he's actually fucking not wired up right or whatever. I think most normal people would agree that enrolling scumbags like Bleeding and Esau and whatever is only going to drag you down to their level. It's not going to lift you up to anything, is it? Do you know what I mean? All it's doing is showing everybody around that you're actually as scummy as them. Because other than that, you will go, fucking hell, I'd rather lose the fucking battle and lose the war rather than fucking saddle up to these wankers or whatever. Most vile people on PooTube, do you know what I mean? Now, like I was saying earlier, Jupiter don't seem to have any Muslims living around or anything like that. You've also had Danny kind of come out with the same thing. I mean, he's swapped and changed it a bit. He's even changed his ethnicity somewhat or whatever. His story changed along the way. Loads of people got onto it from the G-Block community or whatever, and Ghost community and whatever, that, like, what he said originally changed along a period of time to suit the arguments that he found himself in or whatever, which is even more sketchy. I mean, I've said from day one, you know, where did Danny just pop up from, realistically? Now, when they start changing the original story and what heritage they are and all this kind of fucking shit and whatever. You kind of got to question everything then at that point, haven't you? You've certainly got to realise that these people are able to tell lies and then make out like they've not lied or whatever, which is madness. Now, some of the comments from Danny today on Jupiter's was just absolutely cringy as fuck, proper cringy as fuck. Now, I have screenshotted a few or whatever, just on the thing of in case I can be asked doing a review of the review, if you get what I'm saying or whatever. Some of the comments he was putting, I was just pissing myself. It's too funny. Them two are so pissed off that Tommy's like supporting Candid with Lubna, supporting Paul Thorpe, supporting that other dude, I can't think of his fucking name or whatever. The comedian, I think he is, or whatever. Is it something Brand? I can't remember. But mainly Paul Thorpe and Lubna. Do you know what I mean? The attacks, they're sowing seeds of doubt and fucking trying to cause problems within them communities and trying to bait both of them to come on Jupiter's dead arse channel. It's just madness, and using Danny Roscoe as a conduit to that or whatever. Now, for anybody that watched that discussion between Danny Roscoe and Paul Thorpe, do you know what I mean? Paul Thorpe, I thought, was very respectful in the way he buoyed off Danny Roscoe, to be fair. He did it in a nice way. Instead of just going, right, bam, 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 slap you around the internet, do you know what I mean? Which he could have done, because Danny was running on bullshit he'd been fed by Jupiter, thoughts and feelings based off the shit he'd been spoon fed by Jupiter, and nothing else. He didn't seem to have anything of substance to actually like get him to address or whatever. He didn't have any of that. He literally just, it seemed to be a case of all the gear and no idea or whatever. And I thought Paul was very respectful in the way that he dealt with it or whatever. Do you know what I mean? He could have just slapped him all around the internet or whatever and absolutely buried him. But, do you know what I mean? He just kind of neutralised the situation, realised, you know, these people are fucking idiots or whatever, and he just carried on and done his own thing or whatever. You know, I don't think Paul Thorpe would have looked back ever after that point in time. He would have just thought, these people are fucking dumbasses or whatever, leave them to it, they're beneath me. Obviously Jupiter was like trying to trigger it afterwards and whatever, trying to get him to come to her dead channel and whatever. That's all Jupiter does if you think about it realistically. Even if it has to be a case of attacking a person to get them to come on, all that matters is that they can have a conversation and then they can chuck that name around and just get likes, views, whatever, for that particular situation. Jupiter's got no vested interests other than her own or whatever. She's certainly not somebody that would be the best interest of the people, if you like, the greater good, etc. Jupiter has shown she only gives a fuck about herself. She doesn't even give a fuck about her husband, do you know what I mean? He got dragged into the argument over fucking Discord nonsense. Started praying for fucking abuse for all the people that didn't believe the bullshit, Discord too. And then Jupiter's like, yeah, fuck fella. And then within no time, she's making Hector go back and apologise so she can get on that panel again. And everybody's aware of that. Do you know what I mean? So to now see, fast forward to the discussion with Lubna and Tommy and whatever, the bitterness coming out the pair of them, just absolutely cringy ass bullshit that they're trying to like critique or whatever. Danny doesn't know his arse from his elbow. Oh, she's using tequila. It's like, what the fuck are you on about? Do you even know what tequila is? Do you know which type of people use tequila? All Muslims can't use tequila. And I'm not being funny, but aren't you using tequila when you're trying to say to me, oh, you're trying to smear people, you're making out like people that I'm sat with are hope, not hate? Well, that's tequila, innit, Danny? Because yourself, myself and Jupiter are on video having a discussion, and you believed and Jupiter believed that Wendy was hope, not hate, mainly because she was sat with hope, not hate for close to a year. And she weren't just sat there as a dormant thing or infiltrating it like Jupiter and Wendy have recently made out, because she was an active participant, wasn't she? She actually made out that you was a fucking terrorist and sat with the group that made you a terrorist and a woman beater, because his missus runs a fucking charity for battered women or something. Apparently that automatically makes Danny a woman beater. Now, for me to have all that madness around and whatever, and then go, yeah, I'm gonna, fuck all that, I'm gonna now sit with him. Jupiter's enrolled the worst trolls out of the situation. I may as well sit with the other ones. And then he thinks he's going to have any opportunity in the near future or the future in general to point your fingers at anybody. No, you've lost all that. That's all gone out the window. The moment you signed yourself up to being around these cunts and making out people like myself, oh, you're a liar. I'm not sat with hope, not hate. Well, your own words destroy your own argument, so you've shown everybody that you're a wanker. Do you know what I mean? You make out other people are lying just to cover your own shit. But then when people watch what you said previous to that, it just shows you up for the dickhead that you are. Now, I've always said everything happens for a reason, whether it be good or bad. Something good will always come from it, and you'll see. You know what I mean? You'll see in the weeks and months ahead or whatever. People have seen these things and people will react accordingly. Now, as far as I'm concerned, Danny's popped up from nowhere and he's just on the grift. Danny's actually been offered discussions to walk you through why voting doesn't work and why it would never work as a solution to the problems which we're all aware of now. Do you know what I mean? And he's never really pursued those discussions and whatever. And you can kind of see why now, considering you can see the angle of his grift is going to be a political one or whatever. So it is what it is. It's better to see these people for what they are than to not see it at all, isn't it, realistically? Now, none of this shit that's gone on or whatever, it's no skin off my nose. Do you know what I mean? I'm not trying to take anyone down a fucking wrong road. I'm not trying to advise people to join this party or that party or fuck all these parties, join me, support me in a party. I ain't doing none of that shit or whatever. The only thing I've done is show people that there's free, lawful solutions. And it's not me that's doing it and supplying it and fucking, you know, that's people like CMW, which is your constitutional fucking law groups. Now, when you find yourself in people versus state, lawfare, call it whatever you want, it's probably best to know every letter of the law and know the remedies to the problems in law or whatever. That's just me, you know, thinking out the box. For the dickheads that want to keep thinking you can vote yourself out of the fucking situations that you've been put in by the people that have given you a vote, then by all means you keep doing that and thinking it's going to get you nowhere. Well, think it's going to get you somewhere. It will get you nowhere, and it will get you there over and over and over again. If your vote mattered, realistically, you wouldn't have a vote. It is that simple. Now, the conclusion of the review, realistically, I can't actually see me being asked to sit there and review it all, to be honest. I think everyone knows by now. Jupiter's a fucking vile, nasty, lying fucking scumbag. And she will go to all these sick levels and link fucking arms with all these wonky wrong'uns so she can run around with the, oh, I'm not involved. I can't help what people do or whatever. It's like, all these things have been admitted. You've enrolled these wankers to do the most evil, vile shit people need to, that other people won't go to. Everyone needs an Esau. We all remember that line, don't we? And for Danny Roscoe to be co-signing that shit or whatever and perfectly okay with it, then that tells you all you need to know. Do you know what I mean? People have already said to him in the past, I think it was Wendy again, oh, Danny Roscoe sat with IRA bleeding heart. Do you know what I mean? Now, if somebody like Tommy was to look at all this bigger picture or whatever, realistically, is Danny Roscoe the type of person that he would want to have around him? I'm not sure. I wouldn't have thought so, personally. Is Jupiter? I think we all know the answer to that. Definitely not. Not being funny, but you can't be fighting child abuse and have somebody like that even guarding the toilets or whatever. Do you know what I mean? When they are literally losing arguments on PooTube and then praying for abuse to happen to their children and all this shit. It's like, what the fuck? And when they're not doing that, they're singing songs of dig up your kids to a mother of a fucking murdered child. These people are pond life, absolute pond life. You can only look at it realistically from an infiltration point of view. Do you know what I mean? Who does it serve realistically to have scumbags like that attached to your movement, being the Tommy movement or whatever? Do you know what I mean? Does it make Tommy look good or does it make Tommy look bad? It's very simple. I've said this for time. Free ammunition is being given on a daily basis. Jupiter does it like a fucking job. Fucking 10, 12, 14 hours a day on fucking YouTube. Do you know what I mean? Every day like a fucking job. Obviously has no life. Now, think about it logically. Jupiter's been doing this same shit for going on 7 years. She never does fuck all. She never goes anywhere. She never leaves the house. Do you know what I mean? The only time she does, she videos it, so you're aware of that. Oh, look, me and Hector went to some dusty shithole for a few days. Great, whoopie-doo. Oh, look, me and Hector were what? So the only times Jupiter goes out she's like, wow, I'm outside the house or whatever, and she'll video it. Jupiter cannot, Jupiter cannot hold her own piss. You know what I mean? She can't just go on a little break or a holiday or whatever. She can't go anywhere without merging the two lives together. The life that's like supposed to be lived in real life outside the house, and her YouTube life, which is the one that she's fucking mainly invested into. You know what I mean? Now, when you've not got any Muslims living around you, and all of a sudden you've gone from the left to the right, and now you tapped into all this stuff and whatever, and you're hearing all these horror stories and grooming gangs and terrorism and whatever. I actually think Jupiter's radicalised herself to the point where she thinks they're all at it, they're all at it, they're all the same or whatever. I honestly think that's what she believes, and that's why she's so anti-Muslim. Now, I've always said I'm not against people. People can be born into any fucking ideology, any religion. They've not opted for it, they've not chosen it. Do you know what I mean? They've been born into it. You could be born into any. Do you know what I mean? You could have been born in India. You could have been born in England. You could have been born in Germany. You've got no control of where you're born, obviously, and what you're born into. You know what I mean? Your family could all be Christians. They could all be Catholics. They could all be Hindu. They could all be Muslim. Could all be nothing. You know, just atheists, whatever. You've got no control over it. Now, if you're born in a Christian family or whatever, or a Catholic family or whatever, you can not bother with any of that yourself as you get older. Yeah, you might get dragged along as you're a kid, but as you get older, you can distance yourself from that and go, oh, I'm not about that or whatever. I'm happy with just, having a family and having children and, making money and whatever. I'm happy doing that. I don't need like a crutch, religion or whatever. I don't feel the need for it or whatever. And that'd be fine, you know what I mean? Realistically, you might have a couple of family members that are like, why are they like this and we're like that or whatever. But no one, you know what I mean? No one's gonna want to do no honour killings or any fucked up shit or whatever. Your life's not going to be in danger. Whereas in the Muslim community, it's very different, and Jupiter don't seem to be able to like figure that bit out or whatever. Even in amongst a family, mad shit can happen or whatever. Just because of like, I'd say even questioning, not even critiquing, just questioning things or whatever. I mean, not being funny, but we've all seen it with Triller. He's been respectful in the way he's approached it, but he's literally only questioned certain things in Islam. And look at the attacks he gets. So imagine it from within a family. When you've got people like Ghost that have told you straight, I care more about Islam than I do myself, my family, whatever. And without Islam, he would be nothing. Now, anybody that watched that unfold with Ghost and whatever, do you know what I mean? It's like, do we think that he was joking? Do we think that he was lying? I don't think so. I think he was deadly serious. And like I said on the day, I think that's proper sad. Do you know what I mean? That people have been born into something which makes them hold an idea, an ideology above the family and the children and the parents and shit. It's like, what the fuck are we doing there? Now, to me, that is full on radicalisation of a particular ideology to the point where your morals they've like shifted to a mad level to the point where your family are below your ideology. That is mad. And if you can't rule things like that into it, then you're going to think like Jupiter realistically. Now, I've got a multicultural family, I've got very multicultural circles and whatnot. I understand all these things fully, and that's why I can have honest, open conversations with the people around me. Even to the point where I'm happy to have them conversations in public or whatever with people I don't even know, speaking to people at mosques and all sorts. And I can tell you now, they're not all bad, but they are all, kind of force-fed this ideology. Now, I think Lubna broke it down perfectly and shows you how it is or whatever in a Muslim family. Jupiter can't absorb any of that. The hate gets in the way, the bitterness and the jealousy and the fucking, do you know what I mean? The pound signs just switch her straight over to anger, rage, fucking spitting fucking venom everywhere or whatever. So she can't see that. But the average person, the normal people, can actually see that for themselves. So people like Jupiter, realistically, they are highlighting themselves for what they are about. It's just one of them, innit? Which side of history do you want to be on? It is that simple to me. If you're going to go down to sides, that's the only side, realistically, you need to worry about. Do you want to be on the right side of history or the wrong? And Candid with Lubna is literally such a brave lady. She's very aware of the situation, the problems. She's very aware of the threats and everything that she's had up to now. And if she contemplates moving out of this country because it's not safe, then I won't blame her. Now, you've heard Jupiter keep going on about, fucking Paul lives in Spain, he's not a patriot. Well, Tommy lives in Spain. Do you know what I mean? You've had Jupiter keep trying to tell the Muslim community, Tommy doesn't live in Spain or whatever. She's trying to like highlight something that she's been told. Do you know what I mean? To me, that kind of shows you what Jupiter's about, that she will call Paul out for that, but you know what I mean? Take Tommy at his word, he lives in Spain, and anything else you're trying to highlight to score points, you're kind of trying to endanger that situation. So wonky on so many levels, it's unreal. But let's take Tommy at his word, he lives in Spain. Does that stop him being a patriot, realistically? We've got a lot of veterans that live in Spain. Does that take away them being patriots? This person is just literally fueled by hate, and anyone that's got a bit of money or whatever, or even just a successful channel or whatever, you will piss her off because she knows they're going to get money, they're going to get access to money. And I've sat on my ass for 7 years and done fuck all and never really leave the house. She's admitted she's addicted to YouTube. She's admitted she's a paranoid fucking wreck. She's admitted she's got nobody around her that she can trust. Hector must sleep with one eye open. It's fucking mad. Now, I just thought it was funny to do a little poke with a bit of reverse psychology to get Jupiter to actually, have a look through that conversation, that interview. Bear in mind all what's been said before, during and after. And people have seen the remixes of what her original problem with Paul, or original problem with Lubna, or original problem with fucking any of the things which is shit all over or whatever, making these people plants, putting them in more danger. You know what I mean? You're not only putting, when Lubna's speaking out, she's in danger from her own people. When you start calling her a plant, You're endangering her from all sides then. Do you know what I mean? But for Jupiter, that's just, it's a fucking Monday, it's a fucking Tuesday, it's fucking Friday afternoon. She don't give a shit. She'll do that as routine. Some of the shit Jupiter's coming out of on that review. Oh, well, okay, so people have been round to her house. Everyone's had death threats. Look at all the death threats I've had. It's like, realistically, who are you to think that you can try and keep comparing yourself to these, I would describe as fairly high profile people? She's compared herself to Tommy, Lubna, Paul Thorpe. It's like, you're not on any of their level. You're just not. You're a proper bottom feeder. They're actually out there and can change people's opinions, so would become a genuine threat. You're a fat old troll sat on YouTube. Nobody gives a fuck about you. Just entertainment to trolls. Now, there was a few people that was like questioning the bullshit or whatever on Jupiter's reviews and whatever. People like Irish. I think there was only Irish, to be fair. I could be wrong, maybe there's another one, but Irish seems to be the only one over there that's like, seems to have a fucking moral compass intact or whatever. And the only one that seems to dare asking a fucking, well, questioning, just even questioning certain things or whatever. And the simps, just suck it up, question fuck all, just nod along like fucking nodding dogs do. But yeah, it was funny watching Jupiter have to kind of do that review reluctantly or whatever. It's funny. I didn't actually think the reverse psychology would work after we just did it only a day or two ago with Wendy. But yeah, apparently so. Right, I'm going to leave it there. If I can be asked to do a review, maybe I will. I'm not sure that I will, though, to be honest. I think everyone's kind of already made their minds up on certain things, and anyone that's daft enough to sort of still be around that shit and whatever, I don't think they're going to be relevant to anything important anyway down the line. But, massive respect to Candid with Lubna and Tommy for having that discussion. I think it was well needed, well overdue. I believe from both points of view, from Tommy's and from Candid with Lubna's audience, if you like, or whatever, the right things was said, the right things was addressed. Hopefully there'll be a part two. I would have thought there would be, to be honest. I can see that snowballing into something a lot bigger, if I'm honest. I think there'll be a surprise on the 13th, a good surprise. And I think things will develop where they need to, if I'm honest. For me, anything that's moving in the direction of open, honest discussion on a much bigger scale than, you know, a couple of people chatting on a panel or something, on a much bigger scale, that's where we need to be. And then we need to have lawful solutions as one of the main topics or whatever, and chuck around as many ideas as we've got. Anything to push back civil fucking war, I think would be a good idea, and I don't think we're far away from that point now. So it's one of them, innit? I think the more effort we can put in that direction and whatever, putting the right people together and trying to build some unity, that's key. That is essential. Not everybody's going to like it, but realistically, you don't want everybody, you know, you don't want to unite with extremists and wrong-uns and fucking, do you know what I mean? for some people it seems like, yeah, we'll just keep uniting with wrongings and doing musical chairs and whatever. Some people, you don't want anything to do with what you do. So them highlighting themselves is actually doing everybody a fucking good turn, if you like. Right, enjoy, look after each other, stay safe, and catch you on the next one.